So anesthesiologists. So I had the pleasure of working with some. So anesthesiologists, that if I were going to be a doctor, that's who I would want to be. And here's why. Because they literally come into the surgery, set it up, they're out. They're hooking the IV, setting up the medicine, and then they're gone. And then they come back, and then they wake you up. Then they go to the next one. They do that all day. They're not cutting, they're not blood, they're not saving lives, they're not doing anything but hooking people up to an IV, giving them the drip, and they're out. And they're making, all the ones that I work with, most of them are at Vanderbilt, they're making anywhere between $350 and $650 a year. So if we say 600,000 divided by 12, that's $50,000 a month in income. Think you can live off of that? Is your parents, anybody in your family, anesthesiologists? Okay, so you be the first doctor. Okay, good. Great. So, sources of income, anesthesiology. So I think we got that covered. That's your skill set. That's what you want to do. So we just teach that you got to have some kind of stream of income coming in to start the wealth process. Building wealth is not a stream of income. It's kind of what you do with it. So your anesthesiology is going to protect your credit, okay? So when you start getting paid, you got to make sure that you pay your credit on time. Credit is mortgage, installment, revolving. So houses, cars, boats, motorcycles, credit cards, student loans. ROTC, student loans are taken care of. Boom, okay? So the reason why you want good credit, so you can have low interest rates. Our friend Adrian is a real estate investor. I would say Yvette is too. To invest in things, you want to have low interest rates, so you have more money to invest into assets. So if I got credit card debt and it's 15%, and I got an investment that's earning 10%, so if I'm paying 15% and I'm earning 10%, I'm hustling backwards. Okay, so you want your good credit, so your interest rates will be low. Your income, that equals a percentage. That's 45% or less is what you want to do. The reason why you want to be at 45% or less is when you go to buy a home, you got to qualify 45% or less. Okay, does that make sense? So when you go to buy a home, they're going to check your income, they're going to check your credit, then they're going to check your lifestyle, they're going to check your DTI. And so that part of the circle is financial literacy. That's just basically cash management, budgeting right there. So then we move over into retirement. So you making all that money, you're going to need to start putting that money somewhere that's going to help you on your taxes. Also, it gives you an opportunity to invest at a cheaper rate because you don't pay taxes on your retirement. So you got 401k, you work for somebody. If you have your own practice, then you can do IRAs. Okay, are you familiar with any of that? Okay, so IRA is an individual retirement account. Okay, so the federal government allows you to put $6,000 in a year to invest in the stock market. Do you know what a stock is?
Yeah.
It's ownership in a company, and a bond is debt of a company, basically. Okay, so in retirement, you can invest in stocks and bonds. So you got compounding interest. I was going to go to the slide, but don't worry about it. You're not going to qualify for something called a Roth IRA, but you can invest in a traditional IRA. The reason why you won't qualify for a Roth IRA is that you got to have $105,000 or less in income. So you would need to start a Roth IRA once you get your first job out of high school. You understand what I'm saying? So let's say you got a work studies job or a little intern or some kind of job while you're in college. During that time, you can start a Roth IRA. The reason why you want to do that is so you can get that money that you earned in a Roth IRA, which is compounded, which is invested in the stock market, which grows tax-free. It can come back to you tax-free. So when you turn 59 and a half, a long time from now, and you want to turn on the stream of income that's coming back to you in retirement, that Roth IRA is a great place to be. open up your own practice, you want to do a SEP IRA, okay? So we're not going to get a chance to get into all this, but I just want you to know this information since you're in here. So then you max out your retirements, okay? So you're in the market, you're tax advantaged. Oh, and by the way, that's beneficiary, meaning you designate a beneficiary. So God forbid something happens to you, it'll go to whatever loved one that you designate, okay? So you got that together. That's kind of your foundation. The last place is the opportunity fund. That's where you have the most risk. That's where you can have the most return, okay? So you can invest in real estate, you can invest in the stock market, you can invest in business, all right? So these are items that you want to grow. These are items that you want to have protection strategies. That is where generational wealth is, okay? So if you buy your first house, that's in that opportunity fund. If you start a business, that's in that opportunity fund. If you start investing in the market outside of retirement, that's opportunity fund. So you being a doctor, if your mortgage is $2,000, you have no student loans, you got a $1,000 Tesla car note, then you still have $30,000 a month to spend. You max out your retirement, now you have $20,000 a month to spend. So then you can put it in other places, opportunity fund, and start growing that. You see what I'm saying? And so that's where you can really start building wealth. So great example, I like to say Jay-Z. Several examples, but Jay, you know who Jay-Z is, don't you? So he's a billionaire, right? So he didn't get to be a billionaire by rapping. That was his business. That was his source of income. But he became a billionaire because he invested in the opportunity fund. He invested in real estate, stock market, and other businesses. And that yields something called passive income. Passive income, okay? Meaning you can invest in the business and not be working in the business and get money. You can invest in real estate and not live in the real estate and get money. Same token, you can invest in the stock market and not be a day trader, but bring in money. And then those three obviously roll back up to sources of income. So, so for you, how long have you wanted to be a doctor? Okay, so you've known for a long time. That was your route. Okay, that's great. That's great. So for you being a doctor, this is really important for you because you're going to be at the opportunity fund really quick. Your first year out, your first job, you're going to be ready to start doing some of this stuff. Some people it's going to take them a few years, but if you come out of college and you're making $250,000 in a post fellowship, then you're going to be making some good money. So I just wanted to put that up there since we're not doing it in this class, but it does give you an opportunity. You want your emergency fund, 3 to 6 months. You're going to get that quick, okay? Once you get your emergency fund, then you can start looking at maybe getting into retirement in the market. The reason why you want your emergency fund is something called time horizon. What you don't want to do.
Pardon the interruption. Unless you are in the library or have an extended time testing session, we may now move to third period. At third period, please take attendance, and then we will move forward with the schedule and benefits. Thank you.
That's what I was. Capital gains is when you sell an asset. Okay. Risk tolerance is how much risk you want to take. Okay. So when you get into investing in the stock market, you want to have low risk, moderate risk, high risk. If I'm close to retirement, do you think I want to have high risk or low risk in the market?
Close to retirement?
Mm-hmm. Very good. So if I'm far from retirement, I may want to take on some more risk. So as a young doctor, you may want to take on some more risk because you have much longer to make that money up should you lose money. But as you move closer to retirement, you want to be at more low risk to moderate risk opportunity. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And then these are some of those retirement accounts, traditional Roth, rollover, 401k, 403, SEP, simple are for business owners. Okay, defined benefit plan is just something that your company may create. You're a great doctor. We want to create a defined benefit plan so we can keep moving. I would brag a little bit because my company created a defined benefit plan for me.
It's still right.
It is.
Blockchain.
Hey, good morning.
Just like a plan.